Aita for ruining my in-laws' chance to see their son and grandkids after years of not seeing them. My husband's family invited us over for a get-together after a long time of not seeing them. We were excited to go. Kids were looking forward to it, and we were about to get on the road until my sister-in-law called. She said she couldn't wait to see us and was wondering when we thought we'd be in town. After a bit of back and forth, she mentioned her and my husband's grandfather was going to be there because he had recently moved in. I told her I'd call her back and told my husband about his grandpa. Without saying much to him, he just calmly told the kids the trip had to be postponed, but we would do something else fun for our 4-day weekend. Then pulled out his phone and proceeded to make the appropriate phone calls, letting everyone know we weren't going to be able to make it. For a bit of backstory, I've been with my husband since I was 16, which is how old I was when this happened. The first and only time I met his grandpa left a lingering sense of unease with me. I was sitting with him and he kept talking about random topics, bouncing back and forth about his wife who had just passed. He'd be perfectly cheerful, and I hate to say it, but then would suddenly almost fake weep about her. The reason I say it seemed fake was because he would cover his eyes like he was sobbing, then peek to see if I was watching. Anyway, at the end of the day, my husband, then boyfriend, was getting ready to drive me home when his grandfather went to give me a hug goodbye. Except it wasn't just a hug. This man hugged me, and when I pulled back at the end, he held me there and planted a big kiss on my mouth. I pulled away in shock, and he held me there a moment longer, saying, "Thanks for that, sweetheart, I needed that," with my boyfriend's parents just laughing. My boyfriend took my hand and got me out of there immediately, asking if I was okay when we got in the car. He knew I didn't like confrontations, but wanted to privately gauge how I was before deciding what to do. Honestly, at the time, I just kind of was like, well, that was weird, yikes, and laughed about it in the car. I had him take me home and I just let it go. But after that, anytime his grandpa was in town, we stayed away from his family, but it wasn't till years later I realized it wasn't just weird. It was entirely inappropriate. Well, after my husband called everyone, my mother-in-law called me. She said, "My daughter told me you were about to leave until you quickly hung up the phone. Now you can't come. What's going on?" Not wanting to get into it, I kind of just beat around the bush uncomfortably. She eventually hung up, and my sister-in-law called back. She's easier to speak with, so I confided in her why I wasn't okay with coming over. A lot of silence from her. And an I see, later I knew I was about to get another call. Yep, mother-in-law called absolutely furious, saying how I never said anything about that bothering me and that it was years ago that I needed to move on from that. And my dad isn't a pervert, and I won't let you make him out to be one. She also said I'm just looking for excuses to keep her son and grandkids from seeing his side of the family, which is not true at all. His family has been busy the last few years, and every time we wanted to visit, or they planned to visit, stuff kept happening on their end. My husband agrees with me and has tried calling his mom back to set her straight, but she won't answer. The kids are upset that the trip didn't happen, but don't know what's actually going on. SIL hasn't talked to me since the last phone call. Honestly, I have a daughter, and part of me is scared bringing her around him. He's not blood related to my husband. So my brain is going, he did that to his grandchild's teenage girlfriend. How do I know he won't try that on his great-grandchild? But is that overreacting? I don't know. So AITA and being paranoid? Should I suck this up for the family and just do my best to ignore the man and keep the kids with me at all times so the rest of the family can see each other?